this panelist, sorry, hold on one second. La, la, la. All right, so we have 3 panelists that are actually here, present with us today, and we have one wonderful panelist who could not be here today, but she will be joining us virtually. We're going to talk about the relationship. Actually, I don't remember what the official title of the panel is, but we're going to talk about the relationship between technology and sustainability. So we have 4 incredible panelists that are all I'm going to be so honored to stand on the same stage as them and be in the presence of the one that is joining us virtually. I would love to invite up to the stage. We can start with Kroll. Christian Kroll, please join us. Hi, so nice to meet you. Hi, thank you so much. Please join us, yes. Christian is the founder of Ecosia, which is a search engine. It's the search engine that plants trees. He launched Ecosia in 2009 after a year-long trip around the world to help people in developing countries to do something about climate change. It's a Berlin-based search engine that now has 100 employees and millions of users, which is actually enabling the company to plant a tree every second. So I wonder how many trees were planted since I got on stage. I feel all of a sudden very productive. So thank you so much for being here. Next we have José Serra. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, José. So José is an early stage investor, entrepreneur, startup advisor, and business strategist. He's done so much. I didn't get your short bio, but I read your entire LinkedIn page, and I am again, very honored to be here with everyone, so I can't wait to hear more. And next, we have Sarah Tuneberg. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. Sarah Tuneberg is an entrepreneur, technologist, and emergency manager who has worked across government and the private sector, leveraging data and technology to solve complex climate change, natural security, and disaster response challenges. She pioneered adaptation pathway modeling, a climate risk mitigation strategy within enterprise, business, and financial markets, and she is recognized globally as a pioneer in climate technology innovation. Wow, thank you so much for being here. And we have Kimberly. Is she? Oh, there she is. Excellent. Can you hear us all right?
I can.
Perfect. So Kimberly is a futurist for partnerships, strategy, impact, and innovation, and specialist in the blockchain, metaverse, and Web3 domains. She's an international speaker, global impact entrepreneur, and established thought leader in the fields of public-private partnerships, sustainability, and collaborative innovation ecosystems. So welcome, our 4 panelists. We're so lucky to have you all here today. I really wanted to start by, we heard your official bios, your official short bios, but I really wanted to start with just a brief few words, or a few sentences, I don't want to limit it too much, about what you're currently working on and what brought you there. So let's start with Kimberly. Kimberly, please tell us a bit more.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. It's great to be able to connect with you. I was supposed to be in Portugal on site, so I'm sad to not be in person, but sort of in keeping with our topic today, I'm grateful for technology so that we can connect from wherever we are. They can't stop us, you know. We're always going to find a way to be together. I am the CEO of a company called HumanTec, HumanTec.co, and I named that very deliberately because humans come first. I am an advocate and futurist for technology and advances in our potential, and as you spoke about earlier, Bethany, creativity. I think it all comes down to authentic creativity, but technology is or can be, our friend. And we are up against a clock now. And technology, for me, is a great accelerator. It comes down to some tenets that we can talk more about. But I'm here because I have been working in the field of sustainability for most of my life as both an accidental social entrepreneur. I started my first company at 21, and it was solar. And I didn't even think of it as a technology. Only later did it both open my eyes to the power of technology, but it opened my eyes to the responsibility of a sustainable world, and that we can do it all. We can do well and we can do good, and we must do both. So I've been working in those domains throughout my life. I am a 20-year advisor with the United Nations. I worked with the MDGs, the Millennium Development Goals, and now the Sustainable Development Goals, as well as innovation and diversity and inclusion. All these things come together now as Planetiers because every one of us is needed. I'm here because I know I'm needed, and I know you're needed too, and I know we need each other. Thanks, Bethany.
Thank you, Kimberly. That was very, very beautiful. Thank you so much for those words. And Sarah, please tell us a little bit about what you're working on and what led you to that place.
Sure. So I am, at the moment, the Chief Technology Officer of an early-stage startup called Finch. And we rate the environmental impact of consumer products and help people make purchasing decisions that are better for the planet. And the root of this is this thing we've talked about a lot here, is that we all need to make our own individual footprint reducing changes. In this room, we're in the 10% of citizens of the world who really believe in climate and who've made the changes, who are maybe plastic free or other really important steps in their lives. But there's a huge chunk of the population that every day doesn't have time or resources to make those simple swaps that we need to do. So that's what we do at Finch. Super straightforward, super easy, and really working on enabling Gen Z especially to make their purchasing and consumption habits sustainable.
Thank you. Interesting. I can't wait to learn more. And Jose?
Well, this is a big challenge, yeah? Because a lot of people speak about save the world. And I really think the planet doesn't need to be saved. Because it exists before us and will continue if we disappear. So when people speak about save the world, really what it means is that we want to save ourselves in the planet. And this changed the game, because if we need to save us, it's much more important than to save the world. So it's not concerned, yeah? You must be very mobilized to do something to save yourself and to save your parents, your children, your friends, etc. So, because really what planet's doing now is to save himself from us, yeah? In this case, we must act, not only speaking, because if you talk a lot about how to doing it more sustainable or how to save and something like that, it will be very, very late to do something. So everyone must act, not only speak.
Make it happen. I remember that's your motto. I told you I read your whole LinkedIn.
Well, we try to act also, yeah?
Yes.
So, because, look, it's not possible to speak now about sustainability of nature, for example. We need to regenerate. It's not enough to be sustainable. It must be regenerate. You need to help the nature to generate. This is our role now in the planet. And for that, you must use our intelligence our understanding of what's happening in the nature, respect, have respect, because we never respect the nature, yeah? And doing real things. I give you an example. Chris have a very interesting project about trees, to plant trees, and it's a very important thing, what he's doing. But really, we don't need to plant trees, because we have a lot of trees. We imagine who planted more trees in Portugal, for example. It's an industry of paper, yeah? It's cellulose industry who plants trees. We need to plant forest. And forest is a real ecosystem, a big ecosystem, yeah? And trees and forest is different things. It's like, I don't know, imagine, it's like speak about chickens, mass productions of chickens or free birds. It's the same, the difference, yeah? You need to doing something much more palpable, much more real. So we invested in a project in middle of Portugal. It's the name is SilveiraTech. It's to generate a big area of more than 2,000 hectares to build there, rebuild an old village, abandoned village, and to bring there people, creative people, innovative people, to work together for some times, build a community, and have acting in all these forests and regenerate all area of that around that villages. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this kind of projects that we need to do.
Thank you.
Real projects in the in
Make
the
it happen.
space. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, José. So, Christopher.
Yeah, so what am I working on at the moment? So I think maybe to zoom out, my life's mission is to solve the climate crisis. So, making sure that we as humans can still exist on this planet by the end of this century. The main thing that I'm doing is, of course, I founded Ecosia as the search engine. We're the biggest tree planting organization on the planet, also the biggest European search engine, even though we only have 1% market share. And that has gone pretty well so far. We've planted 160 million trees so far. The problem still is...
How many million?
160 million.
160 million.
Yes, quite a lot.
Wow. Okay.
And the problem is still that this is still way too small to actually really change what's happening on our planet. So we need to massively scale that. Fortunately, we only have 1% market share. If we had 100% market share, we could really, basically reforest the entire planet, planting forests, not plantations. But the real challenge that I'm seeing is that for the past centuries, we've been living in a world that is essentially destructive. So we're destroying our planet. The bigger we grow as a society, the more pain we do to our planet. And we need to shift that in a very short amount of time and turn into a regenerative society, a society that actually has a positive impact on the planet. So what we're trying to do is basically find those regenerative projects. There are a few of them that can really make a landscape better, make a society better, and we try to scale that. So that's mostly what we're trying to do with Ecosia, funding those types of projects, helping scale them. Another thing that I'm also doing, or I helped incubate, is a venture capital fund that is also investing in the technology that we might still need to solve the climate crisis. So it's now become Europe's biggest climate tech venture capital fund with 350 million ready to deploy in those types of solutions. And basically trying to figure out what are the things that we still need to solve this crisis. We have a lot of solutions ready already. I think renewable energy, regenerative agriculture, good reforestation projects, those types of solutions we already have and we can scale, but there are other areas where we don't have good solutions yet, and that's what we're trying to find.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you. So I would love to speak with all of you about the relationship that technology has with sustainability. But I think it's really timely to speak about it. I want to start with Kimberly, just because we were chatting about this specifically. But blockchain, cryptocurrencies, like the last 5-6 years, this has been a very prominent point of discussion. I mean, it's when we talk about the impact of tech on sustainability and actually vice versa, these things are brought up quite a bit. And Web3 is now the new one, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't have a deep understanding of those areas. And I'm hoping that not everyone here is extraordinarily knowledgeable in those areas. Makes me feel more comfortable. I'm not alone, but I don't know. So, but I would love to hear, just because I really am very genuinely curious about this, because I don't know so much about this field. But what is, first of all, if you could explain these things, what these new technologies mean, like what their true impact potential is to someone like me, which is good because we're here now and doing this for real. But if you could really explain it to me or like a young child, how do you explain that? How do you explain why this is important? When we're talking about all of these solutions to a more sustainable planet, or as José would say, keeping ourselves alive, why is it important? So, Kimberly? Oh, I think we can't hear the volume.
Thank you.
Oh,
and I agree. It's the planet knows how to take care of itself. It's our turn now to figure out how to take care of ourselves and be in alignment with the planet. But so I agree with the comments that have been made. And I think I want to take a step back and just talk about the relationship between technology and sustainability. I come from the sustainability side first, and so tech was not something I was fascinated with as much as something I interacted with and understood that in every way it permeated whatever I did, and that it was a tool. And throughout human history, humans have extended themselves, extended their reach, extended their capacity by creating tools. So if we first stop and distill this down to the technologies that exist and are emerging and being developed every day, that these are the tools of our time. These are the tools of our generation. And like all the other tools and all the other generations before us, it's what we choose to build with it. And that's why these discussions matter. It isn't about the technology. It is about the action and the intention and the direction of those technologies and what the humans are doing with it and through it. There's a quote that says, technology is neither good nor bad. All comes down to what humans do with it. So that is the most important message for all of us. But I also want to connect the dots between why sustainability and technology are friends, are meant to be friends, are meant to be connected, and they must be. While there are many other adjectives and descriptors I can put here. I'm going to distill it down to time, scale, and connection. Time is ticking. We've talked about urgency in almost every panel. That is not a secret. Urgency of the challenges around us that are growing exponentially. It is important that we bring our A game heartfully, intentionally, and our A tools to the table. We're going to need to accelerate our interventions. Technology is the tool for that. We're going to need to do that at scale. It's hard to do that individually and even in collaboration without the ways to bridge information, action, and collaboration. Technology is that bridge. And then the last one is connection, because for all of the amazing capacity we have as individuals, it pales in comparison to the power we have as a collective. And technology allows us to learn together quickly, to inform one another, to align, mobilize, engage, and act together, and adjust in real time. If there are tools that allow us to do that, then we must embrace them, and we must direct them toward our common good. Now, when we think about Web3 and Metaverse, first of all, I want everyone to relax and know that while these are lots of terminologies, and they've been around a long time, I've been working in these behind the scenes when it was not at dinner table conversation. So it's not new, it's just reaching critical mass. But it's also still being defined and developed, so you haven't missed anything. And this is an all-call moment. We are all called to step into the technologies of our time, to learn about them and deploy them. And you hear about the creator economy. That's because we are entering the age of the mass creators. And these technologies are actually going to liberate creativity en masse. I believe it's like the next Renaissance, that creativity exponential around the globe, unleashing what it is you came to give, your gifts, your knowledge, your capacity. So that's a pretty big deal. And it isn't about widgets, and it isn't about Wi-Fi, and it isn't about how the watch is made, as I tell people. I don't know how the watch is made half the time, but I do know what time it is. And it is time we align and act together. Web3, if you think about it this way, blockchain is about transparency, integrity, really. It's about flattening the line between us, middlemen, intermediaries that aren't needed, so that we can be in a true peer-to-peer world, the kind we belong in together. We can transact, learn with integrity in real time, and no one can tamper with it. Blockchain, we can unpack more of that later or in another session, but blockchain is a game changer. Web3 is like going from a 2D to a 4D immersive world. Super hyper realistic. I can virtually be with you wherever I am, and I can engage with you just like I can in real life. We can make that a positive. It doesn't have to be a distraction to our world. It is an extension of our real world, and ways to more vividly problem solve, engage, and move the needle forward together. So there's too much here to unpack in one thing, but I hope that what I will leave you with in this part is that technology and sustainability are meant to intersect, and they must. And humanity must direct it. We're the ones in control, and we need to be.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kimberly. You actually inspire me to ask an additional question If you'd like to comment on it, it's your choice, in addition to the one I was asking Kimberly. But I'm really curious as well how you might comment on how creativity plays a part in all of this. I mean, your own creativity and also the future of humanity's ability to create and innovate. How will that be affected by these technologies and vice versa? How will these various technologies and tools affect our human ability, our capacity to think critically, just to tie it in with our previous session. So I'm curious about that.
Well, I love the previous session, by the way, Bethany.
Oh, thank you.
The session. And I was cheering because I agree and believe wholeheartedly. During COVID, I co-launched a global initiative called the Pangea Challenge, Pangea One World Challenge. And I talked about the 3 superpowers that humanity has. And they are diversity, which is also inclusion. So our diversity and our unity, which usually it's one or the other, but it isn't. It is both and. But then galvanized, catalyzed, unleashed by the power of imagination and creativity. Mm-hmm. That is the great superpower of humankind.
Yes.
That and that alone, in alignment and right action, is the hope for the world. So I'm a big believer in what you talked about, David.
Yes, thank you. Yes, technology is our partner. Thank you so much. So, Chris, I'm so curious to hear your thoughts on these things. First of all, sorry to throw another one at you, but first of all, what we spoke about before, how you would describe the relationship or the impact potential that technology has in sustainability to someone someone like me or someone a young child or. And then also, just to tack on to that, how you feel about the relationship, how this idea of authentic human creativity is impacted by technology and vice versa.
Yes, so...
I'm really putting the pressure on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's see if I can find a good answer. So for me personally, as I said, I think we have 2 different areas when it comes to solving the climate crisis. There's the area where we already have the solutions, we have the technologies, and those just need to be scaled very, very rapidly. Like in energy production, for example, we have solar and wind power that, I mean, yes, we can kind of keep working on fusion reactors for fun for a while, but they won't, like, this won't help solve the climate crisis. So we have the solutions, we need to implement them and just be very, very good at scaling that rapidly. There are other areas where we still need to figure things out, and their technology hopefully can play a big role. I think what you mentioned, helping people make more sustainable shopping decisions, for example, providing that kind of transparency. We look at a lot of startups that just pick a piece of the entire puzzle and try to solve that. Ideally, pick a puzzle piece that really there is no solution yet, and you actually have a meaningful solution. So, what I think the biggest sectors are, of course, energy production, traffic, housing, of course, is a big area. Food and land use, those areas, there we really have like many gigatons that still need to be gigaton problems that still need to be solved, and we need smart people to work on those. So that's why we're also investing in those types of projects. But in the other area also where we actually have scalable solutions, I think we should not ignore those. And especially what I see when especially the people who've made a lot of money from technology, like the tech billionaires that we have, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, you name them, they, I think, are very, very focused on solving all the problems of the climate crisis with just technology. And I think they have a very limited definition of what technology means, and especially don't have a good understanding of our ecosystems and our planet. So they're almost half blind when it comes to that. So they.
How so? What's their perception of, versus what you believe?
Yeah. So if you look at, I mean, many of the solutions, what they're doing in agriculture, for example, is just put on more pesticides, find better genetically modified plants, have even better fertilizer distribution and so on, while I think the real solution is actually stop working against nature and work with nature instead, do organic agriculture so that you don't even need all those things, and it's actually much more profitable. The problem is that it's not profitable for the big corporations, but it's actually profitable for the farmers. So that's why those types of solutions don't really get the attention. But then also, I mean, when it comes to a lot of technologies that get a lot of financing from those kind of people, like big machines that take CO2 out of the atmosphere and then try to save it in the ground for a cost of 500 euros per ton, we can already do that with trees or agriculture at just 20 euros a ton, and we can scale that. So when I hear a lot of discussion about technology and climate, I feel like that people are only looking at half of the solutions, like only the solutions that they can explain with their technology-focused worldview, and forget about the other half. And personally, I think, I mean, there are a lot of trendy topics. Maybe blockchain and Web3 for me are topics that are trendy at the moment. I don't know what they're. Personally, I don't think they will have a large contribution to solving the climate crisis. Maybe we can say that on a panel like this.
Comments?
I would say I don't disagree with any of it, but I do feel the power of blockchain in that integrity and validation and sort of the ledger capacity. So these nature-based solutions we're talking about, planting forests, doing regenerative agriculture, we need to validate that they work. We need to validate that they've been done and they've been maintained in the way that we claim they do. And that is like the most perfect use case for blockchain. It's a public ledger, it's a public accounting that everyone can say, and I think there's the power of decentralization in that as well. So in the United States, we're working on a project about how you validate that these nature-based solutions were completed and that they meet the expectations of the investor. So you have value creation. And you can do that through taking a photograph, you can do that through attestation, or you can do that through a combination on the blockchain. And I think that that's the power of blockchain. Is it like hugely transformational like fusion would be? Probably not. But it's not a bad solution, and we might as well keep going with it.
It is a solution.
It is a solution. I would also add that I think we need to be clear about all of the Web3 and the crypto, and blockchain requires huge amounts of energy. And that
I was going to ask about that. I'm very curious.
Yeah, there is no cloud. It's just someone else's computer. So we need to be conscientious about that, and you can have orders of magnitude lower energy production, bad energy production by doing it wise, but we're not doing it very smartly right now. We mine crypto and it's bad for the environment. So I think we need to be really conscientious and transparent about where we're going to invest and how we're going to validate that we're doing the things we say we're going to do.
I agree a lot. It's all about confidence. Blockchain is about confidence.
Yes.
So because technology don't have a humor, don't have wants, so it must be good or must be bad. It depends of us, how utility we give for each project or for each technology. We have a lot of examples about that in the world, with amazing technology that transforms in weapons or in good for the people. Here is the same. You can use Web3 with our imagination. And unfortunately, our imagination is very poor. So until now, we use majority Web3 to bring money, to create value for ourselves. But it's normal because all economy works like that. If you think, look, only 2 or 3% of the value of the money that exists, it's in production, in real economy. So 97, 98, it's only speculation. So why we are very surprised, blockchain, these speculations with cryptos and sex, it's normal. We need to change our minds and use in different ways. And blockchain bring a great opportunity of transparency and trust, because we can build new projects and every people know what is it, because it's in the network. You can see what's happened. For validation, people plant trees or not plant trees. It's possible to validate that and use blockchain for that, for example, yeah? So you must be, technology have opportunity to solve everything if you want. Because we have amazing people, amazing imagination, very talented. Human being is very talented, so we can change everything. If you have a sense of urgency of the problem, we can solve it. The problem is we don't sense of urgency yet. We are here, but
how do we instill that sense?
Thousands of people don't understand what you're speaking about.
How do we get that sense of urgency if the apocalypse
like
Planeteers,
is not here? We must be Planeteers, everyone. So in this case, we'll think about our place in the world and what kind of role we can play. Yeah. In terms of technology, it's a huge challenge in different areas, like Crystal. They are amazing. So if you come here and we have able to build this world, and this world was built by humans, yeah, because we dominate all nature, we dominate all planets, we use all sources, all talent or imagination for our interests. But if our interest now is survive, maybe you are more smarter and think in different way.
I wonder if that sense of urgency isn't connecting because it can be really overwhelming and it's incredibly daunting and you have to still get up and make breakfast and take your kids to school. And I think to something you said, Chris, earlier was this sort of selecting your tiny piece of it, that you don't have to boil the whole ocean. You're not responsible individually for doing the whole of solving the climate crisis, but instead picking that small piece that you can really be motivated around, you can be honest and you can be creative and passionate about, that sort of sparks that in other people. And I think that's an important part, that urgency of the human race falling apart is a terribly overwhelming thing for lots of people, I think. So finding that way to connect and have that small behavior change shouldn't be underestimated.
I have one example and one challenge.
Yeah.
All people speak about ice in the Antarctic. It will disappear in next years. Yeah. We have a lot of people with money in the world. Why not sell him this ice? And they will see how the money will go with the time. Why not? They have money, they have no ideas. So we sell them the ice and put this money in regeneration of the nature. Well, maybe with that they will play some role, help others to do something.
Well, speaking of money,
it's a challenge for somebody.
It's a challenge. Who's accepting? Any takers? I'm very curious now that you mention this gigantic kind of like elephant in the room. So I'm just wondering your opinion on what the financial benefit of investing in climate solutions is, because the truth is, I run Paint the World, but unfortunately I don't make any money from running this nonprofit organization. It's where my passion lies, but I work with lots of Fortune 500 companies on different innovative solutions to their issues. And you know, the truth is, even if a company might advertise that they are putting sustainability first, they really only do it when there's a financial incentive, a very clear financial incentive. And we have, I mean, there's so much power in these massive corporations around the world. So when they find that financial incentive, it becomes a very powerful thing. But I mean, just through time, I've seen that that's really the tipping point. So I'm curious, maybe we'll start with Kimberly, if you have any immediate thoughts on that.
Well, you're right that business wants to make a profit, and a business, by its definition, is a construct for making a profit. The trick is to align profit and good. And we have created a culture where it's either or. But those, like so many other elements, are shifted now as a critical mass of consciousness of doing things a different way is here. I've worked in my company, and the processes I work with other companies include the triple bottom line and the quadruple bottom line approach. People, planet, profit, and for me, purpose. There's a fifth piece, because I think if you have all of that in alignment, there's peace in the world. But people, planet, profit, purpose can help any leadership team, any business, any industry find their alignment for making money and making a difference and not having to choose between. I think that they don't do it more because they haven't had to. And that's where pressure from consumers and leadership from within plays the role. But I also have a strong belief, since I am a proud member of many networks, and one of them is called Business as a Force for Good. And I believe business can be and should be a noble pursuit. We should be leading the shift. We helped create it, big corporations especially, but the collective did that. The collective business community did it. So it's business's job and business's turn to step up to the plate as a leader and not just do less, do no harm, but to actually make this the next great wave of opportunities. If you read the statistics on waste, on energy, and on all the transition economy elements, there's amazing, highly profitable, truly viable business opportunities. If they want to look through that lens, bring that lens. Mm-hmm. Just don't stop there. But there's opportunity. You should do it because it's the right thing. But it's okay with me if you also do it because it's a smart thing and a profitable thing. Mm-hmm. Just do it.
Yes, I agree.
Be a leader.
Yes, yes. There are so many opportunities to invest in lucrative solutions to all of these challenges that we have with our climate at the moment. So I completely agree. Thank you so much, Kimberly. And I'm curious, as an investor, your thoughts on this, since this is your area.
You talking to me again?
Oh, no, sorry. Okay. I should specify. José.
the question is, look, it's difficult to invest and think about money when we want to change all the game, yeah? Because we can find, and we try to find projects that have a small contribution, that give a small contribution to do a best world. And this is what we can do, because in terms of, because we only invest in very early stage, it's our claim. When projects just started, so we have opportunity to test them, to make the difference, to see if really work, and after that we need big investors who put more money and scale, yeah, of course. But this kind of investments, they are with mixed proposed, not only to have money back and to obtain the money, but also to help in this kind of projects and to help to do a better world. I have an example. We just invested in a company who produce insects for food, yeah? And it's an amazing company. They're doing great work. It's a Portuguese company because we invest in Portugal. But it's possible to find good projects and with good proposition, yeah? The question is, we have a lot of money in the world, and they don't know what to do with that money. But
give it to everyone here.
If you think about that, it's amazing, because they think they have a lot of money. They think they are immortal, maybe, or for what? Only to accumulate and give more. So maybe they can buy the ice in the
yes
in the Antarctic or something else. But really, it's necessary to mobilize people who really will invest in more more powerful technologies. Yeah. So more risk, to have a more risk in this kind of investments. And we must find, it's difficult to find where is this kind of projects. Because Chris spoke about young people who have very good ideas, yeah, but they don't have experience to bring the projects and grow the projects and things like that. So
there are also so many.
And look, in terms of, for example, we invest in Portugal. Somebody invests only in States, and other invest in other countries. But there are a lot of people in development countries with amazing ideas, and nobody looking for that. Yeah, it's a big challenge also in this area.
We'll only find things where we look. It's true. I think there are also many incredible people working on the same thing. I mean, thankfully, we are all working on different things, but there are so many projects that are really tackling the same issues and not working together. I think that's a critical issue because the money is so spread thin. Yeah.
I can give you one example, interesting. We was involved in one live project. It's a project from European Union to fight climate change. And this project was about use mycelium, use fungus to the forest and help trees to be more healthy and develop, etc., etc. We found that was opportunity to look to the forest in different way, because now there are a lot of people, they look to the tree and see wood, and only see wood. And if you can, and after we have politicians who speak about it's necessary to care the forests because there are fires, it's necessary to doing something. But if you use mycelium, for example, to bring to bring a new opportunity for producers, for example, we put truffles in the forest. Yes, and now we think if it's will going on, but really, if you can produce truffles in the forest, we change the message. We tell to the people, keep the forest, good forest, not eucalyptus, but a good forest, cleaner, and you obtain a rentability because this is a very, very expensive product, yeah? It's much more expensive, much more interesting than producing the wood. So this is game-changing. We need to use some new approach, new business approach, new models to change the game. Because people is motivated to obtain more rentability from the forest, from what they have. So you need to change some models and present them. Look, you have another way to do that. Yeah.
I think that there's incredible opportunity in this innovation space, and also at the same time feel strongly that we need to have these sort of like two levers for the big Fortune 500s, Global 2000s. One is appropriately pricing risk, and that's a technology solution as well, that these companies are at huge risk for loss of natural resources like water, like power, like good soil. And if we can price it properly, then they'll be incentivized to invest in alternatives.
I think that's brilliant. That's very important.
And then additionally, we need to be clearer as consumers about our preferences. There's a survey recently in the United States that 46% of the American consumer is willing to pay more for a more sustainable product. That's money on the table for your Procters & Gamble's, your Unilevers. So if we can properly price risk and we can properly price sustainable solutions to meet the consumer demand, we give ourselves a little bit of leeway while we're getting more creative, I think.
Yeah, also generationally, I feel like Gen Z is much more interested in, I mean, if they have a choice between buying a product that's advertised as, you know, good for the planet versus a product that's not, then I think it's more likely, or it's been shown to be more likely that they would choose the product that's better for the environment.
Globally, Gen Z says the climate crisis is their #1 problem, period. And it's far and away above anything else. So, yeah.
Interesting. I'm curious about your thoughts here, Chris.
I think, I mean, what we mentioned, that businesses have a right to make profit and so on, that's all true, probably. But we're in a situation now where, I mean, Greta Thunberg said our house is on fire, and our #1 priority should be to solve the climate crisis in the next few years, not by 2040, 50 or something like that. And if I look at many of the big corporations, I think I don't know any, to be honest, that really takes this seriously and really does everything they can to solve the climate crisis. Like if you look at the spectrum from doing nothing to really giving everything you can, most corporations I know are very close to the minimum. Some of them do a little bit of offsetting, do a little bit of kind of climate projects to at least make it seem like they're doing something.
It's all in the marketing, yes.
And to not be really attackable and so on. But if you really, there's very few corporations really going beyond what the necessary minimum. And one of the reasons, of course, is that they are not forced to. There is no, not only incentives, but I think we should even go beyond that, rules that say that companies really, really have to speed up with this. So, of course, most companies are at the moment owned by shareholders who want profit, and they they just will make sure that they do the most profitable thing, and at the moment the most profitable thing is to destroy our planet. It's not to repair our planet. And that, I think, really needs to change. Yeah, I studied business administration, and I learned about the invisible hand and how this will solve everything. But I've been also traveling quite a bit, and the invisible hand was really invisible. Like, basically, huge amounts of forest being cut down, and nobody taking responsibility for that. And big corporations benefiting from that, and nobody stopping them. So I think what we need to do is really be more demanding, as I don't like the word consumers, because it puts responsibility on individual people, I think, as citizens, and really ask for laws that this has to change rapidly, not even wait until the next election. So I very much understand that Gen Z really cares about this, because they will not have a good future. I am really bored and more annoyed by all the sustainability talk by big corporations that promise that they will be CO2 neutral by 2050 or something like that. Yeah. It's irrelevant. It's way too little. If you see big corporations like all the big tech companies, for example, who have hundreds of billions of dollars lying around on their bank account and they're doing nothing with that, they're even investing it into fossil fuels or the destruction of our forests. Come on, you need to hold those companies accountable. And that is, I think, the big structural problem that we have. Like, we can talk about little details here and there, but if this fundamental thing doesn't change, that the people who are destroying our planet are the ones who are having the most gains at the moment, they are the ones who end up having the most capital, then we have a problem. But on the other hand, I think if regulations would really change, if we really had rules that said that you have to be climate positive very quickly, then companies who are actually the climate leaders will really be the also the most profitable companies of the 21st century. So yes. I am hoping that this transformation will happen, and then I think it makes a lot of sense to invest in those companies. But if this transformation from a legal perspective or from a government perspective doesn't happen, then we'll just lose more time, and we can talk about small investments here and there, but if the billions or hundreds of billions are still going into oil and gas companies, then we don't need to talk about the millions that go into a few climate startups. So there's really systematic change that I think needs to happen.
Yeah, thank you. So we have about 6 minutes, and I would love to ask each of you what you believe if there was someone who came to you and said they have $100 million to invest in technology that, would help save humanity. Because now we're kind of, I like how you reshifted, not so much saving the planet, but we are humans, and ultimately, we exist on this planet, and the planet will go on, in one state or another. But I'm curious if someone came to you with that, then what would you say? And we'll just do a very quick pressure on, 1 minute each. Kimberly is somewhere in the ether, but she will come back to us. Who would like to begin?
I would say only 100 million, that's not enough. We need at least 100 times that. By the way, I have, the VC fund that we started, we have more than 100 million. And you can fund a few technologies here and there, but the transformation we need is way bigger than that. You need trillions, especially in the area of agriculture, for example, in the area of forests, in the area of renewable energy. You can already deploy trillions, no problem. So I would probably use the 100 million to convince the billionaires and governments to put more than just a few 100 million. But that said, I think they're very good, profitable investments that you can already make in the climate space. You can put that into venture capital if you're more risk-friendly. You can put it into renewable energy if you feel like more on the safe side, or you want to be more on the safe side. You can make good money with that. No problem there.
Thank you. José?
Well, Chris I agree with him. 100 million is nothing. Maybe the best investment is to convince the others to put much more money. That's true. I agree with that. But if you can do something, maybe it will be interesting to create places around the world. Maybe, I don't know, 10 places. It's not, for that it's not enough also, but to create places where we can test very quick new technologies, new approach, different things, like a labs, yeah? And very quick after that to put amazing quantity of money to grow for everywhere.
Thank you.
I love that
Sarah,
idea,
yes.
this sort of innovation labs or startup accelerator opportunities totally appeals to me too. My roots are in emergency management and refugee work, and I think that I would invest in human-based solutions that solve the person in crisis situations, whether it's flooding or wildland fire or other times when individual people, particularly in the global south and in the coast, their lives are upended by climate change. There are real people out there who are literally drowning because of the decisions that the big companies are made, and I think we need to invest in more solutions that meet them where they are, and I would use my money that way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for participating in this. I feel like we could, I mean, I have 1,000 more questions for you just after this panel, so I feel like we can go on for hours. Thank you so much for being here, and
Thank you.
yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.